Two individuals have had a conversation with Vladimir Putin, the Russian president. And one of those individuals is the French president, Emmanuel Macron, and the United States president, Donald Trump. So I need to start with French president Emmanuel Macron. The last conversation which is known to the public, which the French president had with Vladimir Putin, was in 2022, before Russian counterpart decided to go for a special military operation in Ukraine. So that's the last conversation which is publicly known. So this time round, the French president decided to have a conversation with Vladimir Putin, and there are genuine reasons why he decided to have those conversations. They are issues which made him to have a phone call. Because we need to understand, the French president Emmanuel Macron had insisted before that he is not interested to have a conversation with Vladimir Putin. And as we all know, Vladimir Putin has always been open to have a conversation with any leader, whether it is Donald Trump, whether it is the former president Joe Biden, whether it was Keir Starmer, whether it was Boris Johnson, who initiated the war in Ukraine. So there are really issues which made Emmanuel Macron to go ahead and ignore his bride and have a conversation with Vladimir Putin. Number one, and the main one, is the whole issue of Iran. So as we all know, Iran decided to end a relationship with the International Atomic Energy Agency, which actually cooperated and assisted the United States of America and Israel to ensure the Iranian sites were bombed. So the Iranian regime decided there is no more conversation, there is no more relationship between the Iranian regime and the International Atomic Energy Agency. So Emmanuel Macron wanted to use Russia to persuade the Iranians to allow this International Atomic Energy Agency to do inspection in Iran. As we all know, the Russian president has a great influence on what's happening in Iran. It's the same case also with China, and it happens that I don't know why they don't want to have a conversation with China. Maybe they understand that China has a lot of investments in Iran, and they may also have hardcore lines which the French president may not penetrate. And at the same time, there is a bad kind of tone towards the Chinese government. So probably that's the main reason. So on the issue of Iran, both Russia and China, not Russia and France, agreed that there need to be an immediate solution which should be sought between on what should go on in Iran. They probably agreed that Iran should have its nuclear sites being secure, and it should pursue its civil atomic energy targets. They should be allowed to pursue their civil atomic energy rights. They should not be coerced to agree to some rules which are not to their own benefits. That was kind of an agreement between the Emmanuel Macron and also the Russian counterpart. Another issue which they discussed was the issue of Ukraine. Now when it came to Ukraine, as what I've read from the media is the French president was so it came out as Napoleon. He wanted to inform Russia that they will not allow Russia to take the territory of Ukraine. They were ready to support Ukraine to the last minute, and which the Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin said that the Russian people are going to fight for the root cause, for what their main agenda should be at the end of the day be solved. They are not going to relent because the French president had said so and so. They are going to fight up to the last minute, and they are going to ensure that their goals, their aspirations are achieved in Ukraine. And he Vladimir Putin informed the French president that the Western powers, that's the United States of America, France, the likes of Britain, Germany, they are the root cause of what's going on in Ukraine. And hence, the coercion, the kind of the narration with the French president and other Western counterparts are trying to intimidate Russia into, it will not work. That was the phone call between Vladimir Putin and Emmanuel Macron. Now let's go to the next phone call, which was between Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. So, for Donald Trump, his main goal was to ensure that there is a ceasefire, the war between Ukraine and Russia kind of freezes. It was his main objective, and it was his campaigning main agenda during the election period. So, Donald Trump, as he responded to the reporters after the conversation, he was disappointed. He was of that individual who was humiliated because Vladimir Putin was not ready to relent on the goals which Russia had intended to achieve in Ukraine. So, for Donald Trump, he was immediately disappointed with this whole issue of Ukraine and Russia. And we need to understand that the United States of America probably, as it depleted its stockpiles of either missiles, artillery, it is depleting. And that's why the United States of America has kind of decided to seize the supply of those weapons to the Ukrainian regime. And Ukrainian regime is now vulnerable. We need to understand the Russians attacked the Ukrainian on Friday. They landed a lot of drones, missiles on the Ukrainian cities, more especially Kyiv. So Russia is ready to continue with this war. They are in a position to continue, and they are not in a rush to stop the war. Those individuals who are affected, they are both Russians and Ukrainians, but deeply the Ukrainians are vulnerable, because if the United States of America decides to stop the supply of those weapons, then Russia will bomb them all over. That's what we need to understand. Also, Donald Trump discussed the issue of Iran and also Israel. Putin was clear that the United States should not have invaded the nuclear sites of the Iranian regime, and Donald Trump, as usual, he is a boss. He doesn't want to listen to other international world leaders. He wants his way to be his way. So that's why he also got disappointed. So I would like your thoughts about these two phone calls between Donald Trump and also the Emmanuel Macron, the conversations which they had with the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin. What are your thoughts? Like this video, share. See you in my next one. Remember to subscribe.